Welcome, everyone. Um, Welcome in if you're new here. My name is Jane. So they're asking me to use this deck, and I have never used this deck in a reading before, so I don't know what any of these cards are. But they did give me a download here, and they were giving me the number 222, 555, and 1155. So they were telling me that there's like spiritual changes happening, and they said to pause and take care of yourself. So whether through the positive or the negative changes and challenges, because I believe there's going to be some more changes and challenges coming towards us. They're saying to trust in yourself and the universe, control the fears, control our emotions, and control our harmony. So our harmony is basically like our peace, right? Don't let people disturb your peace as much as you can. So then we have great changes coming, and then they have me write like important, like in these big bold letters, and to stay positive during the transitions. And it's, for like spiritual cleansing, mental cleansing, and emotional well-being. And they said that that is the key to keep those three main things. So mind, body, soul, right? And then I had a vision, and they were like sparkling orbs. So I just kind of drew a picture to kind of get a little explanation of what I was seeing. So it was like in the center, when I was because I was awake during this, like I was looking straight ahead, and it was a clear picture, right? It was like there was nothing, and but all on the edges of my peripheral, I guess that's what they call your peripheral, on the edges of your vision, it was all like sparkling, and it was just like it was like falling too, and it was really kind of cool. It was like something that you would see like fairy dust or something. So I guess that's the best way I could explain that. So I didn't really know what Spirit wanted to teach us today or show us today. So they told me that they wanted to bring out a postcard for sure. So I'm going to pull out one of them and set it aside. And I'll read this at the end. Oh my gosh, Spirit, what's going on here? Okay. Okay, so let's, okay. I can't seem to master these cards today here, so let me just split them here. All right, Spirit. Do you want me to cut this deck, or? Okay, they're going to have me split it here. So there's going to be a message here for us. This one? Oh, that's the one they brought out in the very beginning. Funny, Spirit. Look at that, and right underneath is a swan. You know, swan is all about that transformation, right? So that's a hummingbird. So, that right there tells me immediately that, though we're, very small in the whole of the universe, though we're just like that little dot. That little dot, each of us is like that little hummingbird. We have a powerful soul that's contained in our vessels. And sometimes, the smallest actions can reap great rewards because, when you think about it, like sometimes, somebody will say like, I don't know how like anything I do is going to make a difference, but sometimes that does really make a difference. Like, how many people have ever said that, and then their difference was so huge, and they're just like, I didn't think that me doing this or that would really ripple around the world and make such a big impact. You know what I mean? So that's something that they want us to be aware of, that everything we do has an impact. Okay, so do you want me to put one of these first? Okay, they want me to start with this deck, and I haven't. The Ageless, the Light in the Darkness. Healing, graciousness, acceptance. Okay, what's going on here? Let's see here. I have, these cards are all in here upside down and backwards, and I don't know what any of these are. Mother of Dawn. You want this card? these three cards were like on the top here. So we have Master of the Great Hunt, which is authority, the hunt, natural balance. And then this one here is Master of Inspiration, understanding, community, and sorry. Ingenuity. Oh, never mind. I don't even know. Okay. Like I said, I have never used these cards before, so I don't know what any of these cards are. I think I shuffled them a few times. I blessed them, and I put them aside. And I didn't know if I'd ever use them. I think I've had them for like a year now. So the ageless. That's our souls are ageless. Forgotten adversary, sorrow, lost valor, and serendipity. And martyr, matrion of the blind, honest, shame, and restitution. It's on the bottom. Matriarch, mother of homestead, rejection, opportunities, consequences. Osiris King. Osiris here. Oh, commitment, acquisition, responsibility. Responsibility. Oh, look at that. They have Arthur. Companionship, nobility, and self-realization. The champion of Avalon. Abraham, justice of the Pandonium. Justice, truth, duty. See, he's got that, he's bringing in this balance. This is interesting. This guy here, he reminds me of that movie, it's a movie, the guy with the skull and it's on fire. And he takes the souls of the damned. Father of knowledge, right behind it. Okay. Okay, I'm not going to take these two. I'm just going to shuffle a little bit more here and see what the message is. So we have the light and the darkness, the forgotten adversary, and the matrion of the blind. So this kind of gives me this, the light and the darkness, that's our souls, right? You know, our souls are always, the light will never go out. Because we're light bodies. That's what we are. We're, okay, so the healing and the graciousness and the acceptance. This is like the acceptance. I think I'm just going to read these cards from what I'm getting downloaded here. This acceptance, once we accept who we are, like that we are a light being in a vessel, you know, that will help a lot of people heal because, you know, the world is filled with a lot of darkness at this time. And the forgotten adversary with the sorrow and the lost valor and serendipity, you know, I know a lot of people go through a lot of sorrow and they feel like they've lost a lot. And maybe you even feel like you're forgotten. But the universe is trying to, you know, they're just saying like to pause and take care of ourselves, you know, whether that's positive or negative changes or challenges coming towards us. And then we have here like the martyr, because the martyr of the blind, or the matrion of the blind, you know, I see these three feathers up here too. You know, this gives me the Holy Trinity. You know, she's an angel, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, it's all about the honesty, the shame, and the restitution. It's to bring you back. Okay, let's see what else is going on. Oh, I just realized like that's what's on the, she's the same thing that's on the cover of this book. Okay. What else do you want here, Spirit? You know, I was looking at this, you know, it looks like a wasteland to me, and I was getting souls are saying like what a waste of a life. What a they've wasted their lives or a waste of a life or something to that effect. Burn things to the burn things to the ground and start over. I don't know why they're coming out with these kind of things. I think something's going to be coming our way because they keep saying like control the fears and your emotions. Keep that harmony. You know, I see that she has her hands have blood on them, and there's like bleeding of her wings here. The poet of Avalon, the storyteller, fame, stagnation, pride. This is, I think this is because this is what's been controlling the earth for a really long time. Look at that, guardian of the saints. Humility, disillusionment, champion. Yeah, there's going to be, look at Anubis on the bottom. The arbiter of truth, preservation, neutrality, and obligation. He's going to be weighing out all those souls. And then the overlord of the abyss, of the pestilence, the corruption, and the malice. You know, I'm getting full body chills. I'm getting the impression that the big guns are coming out, the big guys are coming out into, it's not going to be like, you know, Archangel Raphael and like all of them, because they're just all about the healing and whatnot, but they're bringing out the big guns. They're bringing in like the overlords. They're bringing in the, you know, like Anubis and the guardian of the saints. And look, and you have Earth right underneath. The Lady of Masks. Reclamation, vanity, surface appearance. Nobility, self-realization. Pestilence, corruption, malice. You know, and with this card too, it just kept giving me like they want to burn everything to the ground, like the over. I keep calling them overlords. I don't know why I'm calling them overlords. I don't know where that word's coming from. I'm getting the impression that they're on their last dance or their last. Something about the last. I don't know what the last means. Overlord of the abyss. The pestilence, the corruption, the malice. I think the, you know, and you'll see how he's got this like elongated head, which gives me this, like the extraterrestrials. Like, I don't know what that or who that is. And it looks like his wings have been burned to the bone. Oh, look, the Overlord. I kept saying Overlord earlier, too. Overlord of the Abyss. Anubis is going to be doing a lot of... okay, this seems a little intense. I get the chills like crazy. I don't know if I can... but you see Anubis has this light here, and then he's holding this light here. I don't have room for all these cards, Spirit. Arthur, champion of Avalon. Master of the great hunt. Look, the authority and hunt, natural balance. They're bringing in the balance. The emissary. Yeah, I have a feeling that the extraterrestrials are closer, and I believe that they're going to be helping, like, from the other side, because the matriarch of the blind, they're going to be restoring some kind of balance or something here. But before that can happen, it's going to take, there's going to be a lot more upheaval. So with the upheaval going on, that's why they're asking everybody to, that the great change is coming, and just to stay positive during the transitions. So I think that's what it is. They're calling out all these overlords that have been, ruling. Okay, from the abyss. I keep getting, like, from underground. We have Anubis here, the arbiter of truth. So all this malice and corruption and pestilence that's been going on, because we have a lot of, we have a lot of warriors here, right? We have the ageless here. We have the prince, the forgotten adversary. Everything is being monitored. These people that have been telling the stories and having people live in their pride and all the stagnation that they've caused with all the corruption and the malice, this delusionment is going to happen because, what was that card with the mask that came up? This one here, the lady of the mask, the shaper, because they've had, like, this mask on everyone, right? Master of the Great Hunt. They're hunting, someone's hunting these people down. Authority. The natural balance. Mother of Dawn. Beauty, agency, and compassion. The emissary. Yeah. The traveler. Keeper of the crossroads. These are some dark looking cards, I must say. Well, I just split it on matriarch again. Mother of homestead. Rejection, opportunities, consequences. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of consequences for what's going on with these people that have done this kind of stuff. Okay, so I think there's going to be a lot more happening. I'm going to keep these in the top. Eternal servitor, the ancient wanderer. Hope and completeness and yearning. That's, our souls are constantly yearning to, it looks like his hand is, like, holding the moon. Or an orb. I just heard it's an orb. We're always yearning for something. We're always yearning, because our light, our internal light bodies miss our homes, like our true homes, because Earth is not our home. And Mother of Creation is Mother Earth, I think. Mother of Dawn, the thinker, Father of knowledge. Instruction, reinvention. Okay, I think they want me to read this card. The internal, I don't know how to even find these. I don't know if they're in alphabetical order or what they are. Oh my gosh, there's those, like, different languages. Oh my god. I don't know what's going on here. You're going to have to bear with me here. There's a message in here somehow, somewhere. Oh, look, he's right on the front page, too. I'm just going to read this little thing here because it says, death comes to all mortals when their time is upon them. It is but a beginning, a door to another world. Masolia, I guess that's the name of this deck, is a vision of the world beyond, the place our souls may travel to after death. It is a place that is knit together from many of the stories that exist in all corners of the ancient world. Where was that card? The storyteller. You notice he's in the middle of everything? Storyteller, the ancient world, full of heroes and gods and myth and legend. It is the true essence of these personalities and the stories they inhabit that is intended to lend insight and reveal hidden truths of our own lives and the path we travel. So they're saying here that this deck to the spirit world is comprised of countless realms, and this deck includes 6 of these great kingdoms, each a reflection of our own world, and from each of these has been selected 6 inhabitants who best represent certain qualities and ideals. It is the power of these personalities and traits that illuminate the path before you. Okay, let me see here. Is there an index to find this? Okay, the thinker. The thinker is the father of knowledge. Okay, so the thinker's formidable intellect has persisted even into the afterlife, and he has no illusions about who or what he is in life or in death. His will and reason form the foundations of the city districts around him, and he uses his knowledge to instruct those who come to the University of the Mind. The thinker teaches us that there is no state in which and from which we cannot learn, and that often the best way to improve is to teach and exchange knowledge to others. Okay, so internal. Find that here. Internal servitor. Okay. The internal servitor has wandered the realm as long as anyone can remember, perhaps as long as there has been Masolia. As long as there has been time or memory, it wanders incomplete, sufficed by longing for the unknown thing that it lacks. Perhaps this thing is a piece of itself, the truth of what it is, the purpose for which it was created, or maybe it is itself a memory, a remnant of something that died even before death came into being. The eternal servitor reminds us that we are ourselves eternally incomplete, and we must manage our desires and shape them to what we want to be, lest they consume us and become all that we are. Okay, so I guess this is where they want us to be aware that, I notice how I set it underneath here, and the thinker I put underneath the storyteller. So this is what they're saying with these cards. So you're the storyteller of your own life, of your, you can continue being blind to what's going on in the world within the vessel that's within your vessel. You can continue on with the corruption and malice and all this type of stuff. Or you can like remove yourself, have the humility, remove yourself from all this disillusionment, the removing the masks, the forgotten, because that's what they've done. Like this overlord of the abyss, they wanted everyone to forget who they truly are. And what you are is a light being. So when we all go, that's why there's different levels. I thought they're talking about the different levels in this card reading. So we can continue wandering on aimlessly and, stay in this kind of corruption. I mean, it's the free will, right? So you can choose to break away from that, or you could choose the healing, the grace, the acceptance, evolving your soul, because you're not just a vessel, you're an internal soul. That's why they're saying like you're not ever complete, like your soul's never complete, like your soul can continue, like come back lifetime after lifetime and expand on it, right? It can do you want another card? Go underneath the prince here. Forgotten adversary. What's that? I feel like there's another card here they want out. I noticed that they're putting like, there's like the positive and the negative. Oh, okay, because that's what they were saying here. Like, oops, they were saying here like pause and take care of yourself. The positive, negative changes and challenges. You notice they have a positive, a negative, a positive, a negative, a positive, a negative, a positive. Spirit, that is funny. Funny as AF. Okay. Okay. But you got to be that thinker. You got to be that independent thinker to get yourself out of the matrix. Okay, so is there another card you want for underneath Prince here? Radiant Lord, wisdom, paternalism, and kindness. Look at that. El Shadia, the Radiant Lord. So you have the Overlord here, and then you have the Radiant Lord, and you see how he's got this this light into his head. He's got light into his head. Yeah. It's to have this wisdom. This is all about like the sorrow and what you've lost. Yeah, and on the bottom again, it's matriarch again, and it's rejection, opportunities, consequences. So everything we do in this world has consequences to it, because like Anubis, he weighs the hearts of all the souls that come through, because he's the one that leads you to the afterlife. So I guess what they're trying to say is decide how you want to be in the afterlife. What do you want to happen to your soul? Not what's happened to your vessel, because the vessel is just going to go back to the earth. But what is going to happen with your soul? Holy crap, man, this is a little intense. Okay, so let's see here. I want a couple of these. Ignore the snoring. My dog is got the shadow for this. So we have detective. Oh my gosh. So I asked them, because it came out sideways, I asked them, do you want me to read it from up or down? And they said down, or, like in the reverse. And the reverse says, the shadow attributes here is, so it's detective, voyeurism, falsifying information. So it's causing so much sorrow. Okay, so there's a lot of falsifying of information here. Okay. You want this here? Yeah, to keep everyone blind. I see. Okay. Okay, Spirit. What else do you want? Falsifying information. Okay, so what else do you want here? Ask me to put this up here. They won't let me go forward with. And the warriors in reverse too. So the shadow attribute is trading ethical principles for victory or at any cost, indifference to the suffering inflicted on others. This is the storyteller. Because they're falsifying the information. Okay. Do you want one for the overlord of the abyss? Pestilence, corruption, malice. What do you want for that? Oh, I didn't see it going this way. I think this is really, I just keep getting like, this is like a warning. But, it seems weird that they would give me the vision of all those sparkling orbs. That's what people don't see. They don't see the light beyond the center. Oh, they're so focused on like what's in front of them. They're not seeing, oh, they're blind. I get it. So they're blind to what's in front of them. They're blind to what they don't see. What they don't want to see? I'm not sure what they're trying to say here. Look at this. They're going to be judged, though. Balancing justice and compassion, managing the fair distribution of the power. See, and this is where for the overlord of the abyss here. There's going to be judgment's going to happen. Liberator. Oh, so you can free yourself. You can free your own soul. It's up to you. Okay, so freeing yourself and others from outmoded beliefs, releasing negative thought patterns. That's what's going to liberate you. Oh my gosh. And then it says here, the saboteur is in the light attribute, highlights your fear of self-empowerment and the changes it would bring in your life. So that's why they're trying to get us to control our fears and our emotions of what's going on in the world. Because when you control that, it allows you to be in a higher, blind yourself to the fear, basically, is what they're saying here. Okay, there's one more card here, Spirit. Ooh, that flew in the air. The teacher, but it's in reverse here. So, manipulating or abusing students, teaching negative traits and destructive skills. Again, You want one more here? Okay, so on the very bottom is Hermit. And so came upright. So the light attributes is seek solitude to focus intently on inner life, serves personal creativity. And right underneath that is friendship with animals, communication with nature spirits. See, and the Hermit comes right out underneath Anubis, because if you're taking that time to focus on your inner, then that is going to expand your soul. You know, I noticed, like, you know, with the card here, because of the rejection, the opportunities, and the consequences. Oh my God. And look at that. Right underneath there is the Leaper King? I don't know. The Sword of Law, bravery, self-discipline, and faith. Yeah, look. And then underneath that is Exile, which is a forsaken soldier, strategy, failure, trauma. This is what they're trying to keep. This is what they're trying to keep the world into. They're trying to create all this trauma. They're trying to create all this negativity. They're trying to create all this negativity to put people into fear. And, you know, because even I noticed I was watching a homestead page, and the guy on there was saying how, like, he was, you know, because they were getting, like, all the ice storms that were going on down in the States and stuff. And I know that we're all, like, it's that vortex of whatever it is, storms. And because we're in the northern hemisphere, we're getting a lot of the snow. But down in the States, they're getting a lot of, I mean, I think some are getting snow, but they're getting a lot of ice and stuff. And, you know, of course, they have that fear of losing their power. And they're not used, people down there in the lower, down in, like, Louisiana, places like that, they're not used to having, like, you know, ice and snow. So they're not really prepared like we are for it. I mean, we have all the equipment and the snow tires and, you know, the extra different types of heat and all that, but they're pretty limited there for what, you know, because they're not used to it. They don't have, like, you know, they don't put winter tires on every winter, you know. So for them, you know, it's very concerning. But the guy was talking about how he was keeping an eye on the news, but he was talking about how, like, the news, like, they were making it sound like it was going to be like this catastrophic event that's going to take place. And he was saying how, you know, he has to really take everything with a grain of salt because they make everything sound so bad. You know, and that's to create the fear. And because these energies, these overlords of the abyss, they need that fear, because that's spirit. Because that's what they feed off of. They feed off the negativity. They feed off of your fear. They literally feed off of it. That's what keeps them in power. That's what keeps them going. They can't survive in the higher energies. They can't be with the guardian of the saints. They can't be with the mother of the homestead. They can't be the matron of the blind. You know what I mean? They can't, the light and the darkness. They have to have that. That's the only thing they feed off of. So you have to use your wisdom. You have to try to stay as kind as you can. You have to use, you know, you find all the knowledge that you can, you know, because otherwise your soul is just going to be wandering into these realms that your soul's not going to want to be in any of these realms. I can guarantee you that. Like, I mean, you know, and, you know, I was told before too, you know, 6 or 7 months ago, maybe longer, in a meditation, I was told that if we could truly see what, you know, where she's got this blind, if we could truly see what was going on, like if we could see beyond the veil in our human form, it would terrify us to the bone. That's what, so they gave me that memory of that, like we would be, if we come into contact with something like this while we're in this human flesh, you know, because our mind is so limited, right? When you're in, especially if you're in fear. But what's going to happen when you end up going into the next life and you're in a light body, you know, you're going to have to be people, not you, but I mean, maybe you, I don't know, others, some are going to be facing these kind of energies. And if we were to face those in a human vessel, they told me that we would actually be terrifying. We would be terrified to the bone. We would be shook to the bone with the fear. And I think that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to bring that in, but there's going to be some judgments going on here, but you have to try to use your knowledge and, your ancient wisdom. And oh, I can't look. Fate. It's going to be your fate. It'll be fate, and you can't run from fate. That's something that you can't run from. What's destined for you is coming for you. You know what I mean? The only thing you can do now is try to teach the vessel that you're in, like try to have your vessel, allow your soul to lead the way, right? To expand your soul while you're in this vessel is what I'm trying to say. Okay, Spirit. Is there anything else here? This is all fate, though. This is a pretty heavy kind of reading here. All right. What do you want? Is there anything else here? Yeah, look at this. Oh, God. That card was sideways. And it says mental clarity. Or mental conflict. Look, and the awareness is upside down. This is putting a lot of men here with the light here. These energies that have been ruling the earth for a really long time, they know about all this stuff. They understand. They're taught all this from a very young age. That's why they have the elites. They feel, that's why they're so condescending. That's why they have that, they just, they have that, like, how, like, when there's like a secret that you aren't aware of and everybody is like he and behind your back, and that people are laughing at you and you're just like, why are they even laughing at me? I don't even, like, you're not part of the joke, you're not in the loop. That's why the people that are at the top have that. They think they're better than everyone else, but they're not. Their soul is the same as your soul. The only thing is, your soul is going to be like, just like their soul. Our souls are all going to be weighed at the end. And now, they can have themselves damned. They can be damned. Absolutely. Positive movement forward. Exactly, Spirit. It's all you can do is keep having a positive movement forward. Just keep staying in that that positive mindset. Starlight. Oh my God, that dog, she snores so much, low, because they're always going to be trying to cause you to have this separation. That's what they want. They want you to have, like, this is the Tower card in the tarot. So, they want you to have to be like in fear and disrupted, have nothing but disruption in your life. Because again, they feed off of that. They feed off when you're in survivor mode, they feed off of that. But even if you're in survivor mode, you can still take that time to pause and go within and, expand your soul in a positive way. Yeah, bring fulfillment of your wishes, exactly. Well, and then you got mental conflict on the bottom coming out yet again. Yeah, or you can be in the, because this is what they want to do. That's exactly what they want to do. They want to create the mental conflict. They want to create the heartache and the loss. But, if you're smart and you're taking any kind of, the emotional loss too, see what they're trying to do. But you can just move on from that. You don't have to accept that. They want you to be in loss. They want you to have, they don't want you to have a full cup. See, they have the love begins. It was in reverse. They don't want you to have this full cup. You know, just keep moving on. Hold on a second. Try to see behind. Yeah, I think that's like some kind of watch or something that he's holding. I'm not really sure what he's holding in his hand, but, you know, trying to fulfill your heart with love, and they're trying to create this, right? But it's all going to come the way it's, throat chakra. Yeah, speak up for yourself. Well, and then you have the balance. This is justice again. There's going to be justice. I've seen that they brought this out a few times. There's going to be justice. Look, the shadow. This is the moon card. This is all the stuff that they've been hiding. See? Look, the devil. The devil doesn't want any of this. They want this temptation. They don't want you to have any. They don't want you to transform. They want you to stay. They want to keep you down. That's what they're trying to do. They want to keep you down and out. Just don't allow it. Well, on the bottom is foundation. Yeah, you got to build a foundation for yourself. They're splitting it here. Longevity. No joke, spirit. Grounded again. Look at that. Stay grounded, exactly. Because that's where, being grounded is being grounded into the earth, but connecting to the higher realms. Advancing your soul. Okay, so what else do you want here, Spirit? Honestly, I didn't know what this reading was going to be about, but jeez. That's why they keep saying, that's why they gave me these weird messages. I thought this was going to be really positive, right? But that's why they gave me this, like the spiritual changes. Oh yeah, I get it all now. Because, it's to take care of yourself through the positive and the negative. Trust in yourself and the universe. Control the fears, the emotions, and have harmony. Great change is coming, but they wouldn't say, right? They're saying to stay, but they keep saying to stay positive during these transitions. So they know that there's something, they know that there's their last hurrah. They're trying to bring in their last hurrah. Their intention. Okay, what's their intention? Have gratitude and longevity again. Turtles live a really long time too. And turtles have a really hard go at life because, they're born into like a big hole in the sand, and then the sand's all like patted down on them. They have to like bust out of the shell. Then they have to crawl out of the sand. Then they have to make their way across the beach. And then not that many of them grow to be full grown. So they have a really hard life, right? So showing your intentions, having your intentions, dealing with this. Look, and then there's harmony. Well, so there's, have the gratitude. You have the longevity. You have the, you have the strength because, you have that hard shell to protect yourself. And I see that they have protection here with the bear. And then there's harmony here. One more, Spirit. Well, and there's another swan. Thought I saw a swan earlier. Maybe it's a different reading. The swan is all about transformation. Okay, Spirit. Is there another one? Look at that. And then they got sloth, wisdom. That's the pausing. There, there's a clump of dust or something there. Oh, look at that. So you have play and then you have instinct. Yeah, use your wisdom and your instinct to know what to do and when to do it. And then there's balance again. Change. Exactly, Spirit. And a little protection again. There's going to be a lot of protection that you have during this change, but it has a lot to do with your mindset because they can only protect you to a degree, you know what I mean? If you get down, if you allow yourself to get into the negativity and you allow yourself to get pulled down into those lower vibrations, these kind of negative energies are going to grab hold of you and they're going to try to hold you there. They're going to weigh you down. So these are some of the things that could be happening or coming. Someone is leaving your life, which creates a lot of loss, you know what I mean? Because they even have emotional loss here, heartache and loss. And then you have chairs filled. Isn't that funny how they did that? But someone new is entering your life. So though you might be losing something, something better is going to come in. Cobweb, protect it from negative forces beyond your control. No joke. And see, the spider web too is all about like keeping you stuck. Handshake. A meeting with a stranger could be important. Interesting. Is there anything else here? Fly. You know, just thinking being a fly on the wall. A period of ill health or depression. Yeah. Okay. Look, and then you have the moon again. Changes in your life. See, there's going to be a lot coming in. Look, but then it comes out with happiness right underneath it. Okay. Okay, so the moon. And see, we're coming up on a full moon too. So I don't know if they, these negative energies are planning on doing something with the full moon. Yoke. Feeling tied down or frustrated. And that's what I was saying about getting into that negativity. That's what they do. You get tied down into it, right? And then you become very frustrated over it. Okay. Protected from something about May. Well, May is about, spring and the release of winter. But also, it has to do with the spring equinox. So that's when they say the real new year begins, right? Archway, new opportunities, possibilities, and pathways are opening up for you. Meeting, and it comes right under meeting a stranger. New opportunities, possibilities, and paths open up. So what's the fly? What do you want for the fly? A period of ill health or depression. Cup. You should accept valid criticism. Broom, new home, new attitude. Yeah, so it's what it's all been about with the attitude, right? Haystack, karma, you will reap what you have sown. No joke. And that's what they were talking about with the Anubis, right? So, karma, you will reap what you have sown. And they have good luck here. So, it could go either way. And then on the bottom is skull. Hidden secrets can harm you. Yeah, absolutely. Hidden secrets can harm you. That's what this negativity here. Yeah. And this one here is celebration, fun, and enjoyment. That's trying to stay positive, right? The muddled and unclear thinking. See, and this is where it gets you into looking sorrow over a loss. So there's going to be a lot of loss coming in, and that's what the change is going to be. And then look what's going to happen. Psychic ability, trust your intuition. This gong here, an exciting event. Waiting for news, package or letter. Okay. All right, so then we're going to end with this here. Dearest you, we bet you must be so exhausted some days, giving as much as you do, sharing your energy so beautifully in service to the highest good can leave you feeling depleted, like an empty well. If it feels as if there's no more water for you, the good news is we have a plan. Today, we go we take a relaxing bath, book a massage, read a novel, buy yourself flowers, or plant some in your garden. Make time for self-care. Pause and take care of yourself. Not more, make time for self-care, not more. Work on yourself by tending to yourself now. You are reminded to do so more often. And be sure to use a word that might have caused you anxiety in the past, but is essential for your well-being now. And I even put that down, that your spiritual, mental, and emotional well-being is key. Jeez, Spirit. Oh my God. By tending to yourself now, you are being reminded to do so more often. And be sure to use the... Oh, sorry. Yeah. And be sure to use a word that might have caused you anxiety in the past, but is essential for your well-being now. No. Say it with us. No, thank you. No, I can't. Or you do not have to explain. Just say no gently but firmly. Then go for a soak. Life will wait for you to bring yourself back to center, replenished, and ready for more adventure. And, you know, they're saying, like, bring yourself back to self. And that's what they're talking about. That's why it's so important to stay positive, right? Wow. Well, that's that. Interesting. Well, that was a pretty interesting reading. I'm glad it ended on a positive note because it was getting a little dark there for a little bit. Okay, anyway, that's all I have for you today. And I hope this, I hope this kind of wakes up the people that are, not so much on the good side because, they're really damning their souls and maybe not realize it because maybe they don't believe in a higher source. Maybe they don't believe in the different levels of servitude is what I wanted to say, but I don't even know what that means. So, okay, I'm just going to close reading. So I'm going to send you all my love and light. I hope this has been helpful, I guess. I don't really know how it would, maybe it'll help those that are not, but maybe it'll help you too, because, it's no matter what's going on around you, there are spiritual changes happening. There's a lot of things going on, and, to pull yourself away from that and not to be so, concerned about like what's going on the outside and just be more concerned of what's going on the inside of you. And with that, I'm going to bid you a good day, and I hope you will have a blessed... I don't know, I went blank there, sorry. Yeah, I guess it's that muddled and unclear thinking I got going on. I don't know. So anyway, I'm going to bid you a good day. Bye, everyone.